Because most people don't read the Motor Vehicle Act, people learn about traffic law by watching others and by reading traffic signs. Welcome back to Think Bicycle. Today a look at signs, signals, and pavement markings you should know. There are 7 general categories of traffic signs in British Columbia. There are regulatory signs, warning signs, guide signs, information signs, construction signs, service and attraction signs, and if that wasn't enough, supplemental traffic signs. There are literally hundreds of different traffic signs, most you'll never see, so I'm going to be talking about the most common ones in this area that apply mostly to cycling. Essentially, signs come in 3 advisory categories, like traffic light colors. There are the ones that want you to stop or don't do something, like no cycling. Then there are the signs that want you to be cautious, like slippery roads. And then there are signs that advise you about your surroundings, like you're on a bike route. Regulatory signs are the easiest to understand. Maximum speed signs and stop signs are the 2 most common regulatory signs. But regulatory signs can also indicate where bike lanes begin and where they end, where not to cycle, and how to regulate yourself on shared facilities. Caution signs can be directed to the motorist, cyclist, or both. Signs are made of reflective material so that in the dark and in the fog, you can be aware of hazards on your route. Just a note about obstruction signs. The obstruction signs that you see on either sides of bridges or on pavement islands indicate with the slant of the line where the motorist should go. But obviously, if you were cycling here and you didn't want to go onto the bridge, you would ride on the opposite side of the barrier. So in this example, the obstruction sign doesn't really apply to cyclists who are taking the sidewalk side. Here's another example. You can see the bike lane is on the right side of the obstruction, but the hazard sign directs traffic to the left side. I mention these 2 examples so that you keep in mind that signage can be directed at a variety of road users, cyclists, motorists, or large trucks. The sign and the situation inform you whether the caution sign applies to you and your route. Signs are an intrinsic part of traffic movement. Caution signs inform road users of all levels of experience what to watch out for. Green information signs can use symbols, or in the case of wayfinding signs, they can provide written information and instructions. Here are 2 signs representing the same facility. On the right, the yellow sign informs road users what to be cautious of. So, railway tracks, double traffic circle, be cautious. On the left, the green sign shows enter and exit information to guide road user choices. Have you noticed the little gap in the traffic circle on the green information sign? It's meant to look like that to discourage people from thinking they can turn left into the circle. Cycling as transportation requires patience. There are faster ways to get around town. It's important to keep in mind that most of the infrastructure was built for motorists, and that not every traffic technology adapts to cycling use. Many new technologies have been introduced to traffic control. There are sensors that count the number of road users, that detect speeders, and some that detect emergency vehicles to give them the green light. However, bicycle sensing technologies have been hampered by roadway design, by the technical setup, and by popular understanding or misunderstanding of the technology. Nowadays, intersections are run by sensors that detect the presence of road users. The detection systems are either optical devices that sense vehicles in infrared, microwave, or video, or they're the old-style induction loops in the ground that detect metal. And they're not so good with non-ferrous metals like aluminum. Doesn't work with carbon fiber, of course. To activate a green light, a car or bike must be behind the stop line. That's the target area. If you're in front of the stop line, like the cyclist on the other side of the road, you won't be detected. Not that I was detected in this case. I was behind the stop line in the target area if the target area included being on the right side of the lane where cyclists normally would be. So I was unable to activate the sensing device, which I assume is this little black thing on top of the post. I didn't see an induction loop in the traffic lane, so that leaves us with a bit of a dilemma. Do we run the red or what? The cyclist on the other side provided one solution. Green pavement is a visual aid to inform both motorists and cyclists where they should be in the lanes. Green pavement is often used in congested areas where motorists have to negotiate lane changes in short distances. In this intersection, motorists from Highway 97 and Highway 6 are crossing multiple lanes of traffic to get to their ultimate destination. So the green pavement is a heads up to watch for cyclists and an indication for cyclists about the best route for them. Another pavement marking to be aware of is elephant feet crossings. These square dots indicate cyclists may ride through the intersection. The BC Community Road Safety Toolkit describes a number of ways cities can implement safe and reasonable pedestrian and cycling infrastructure, and it's really great to see that the city has used some of the tips from this book to create our infrastructure. Pavement markings also remind users on multi-use paths to remain aware of other users. So if you're a cyclist, slow down, maybe ring your bell before passing pedestrians, and pedestrians, listen for the bell and watch out for cyclists. And lastly, an opinion. There are pavement markings that make no sense to me. I think you appear more predictable to motorists, and thereby safer, when you ride a straight line and don't swerve out of and back into traffic. Thanks for joining me for this look at signs, signals, and pavement markings. I have a number of links in the description below to the source material for this video. Like and subscribe for more videos. Check out my other YouTube channel, Active Vernon.